Does the fear of calling stop you from taking action? In this video, I'm going to talk you through how I went from being terrified of cold calling to being able to confidently call top decision makers of businesses in just 30 days. For most people, cold calling isn't hard because they don't know their product well. It's actually hard because they get stuck in their heads before the call has even begun. The fear of making a mistake, the fear of being rejected, fear of forgetting what to say, and just the fear of sounding awkward. I know that feeling really well because I suffered from it for far too long, and it was paralysing for me. I want to break down what actually helped me get over that fear and become more comfortable on the phone because, to be honest, it wasn't just one magic trick. It was a simple few habits that helped me calm my mind, practice the skill, and build confidence through repetition until eventually cold calling felt just like brushing my teeth. So, here's what helped me. Number 1, journaling before starting calling. And I don't mean writing something polished or motivational or manifesting. I mean being brutally honest with yourself. Just sitting down and vomiting exactly how I was feeling before each session. Things like, what if I make a mistake? What if this person tells me to F off? What if I forget what I'm saying? I'm feeling uncomfortable, feeling a bit anxious. This helped me because it got my thoughts out of my head and onto a piece of paper. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of fear gets stronger when it's just floating around in your mind, spiraling round and round in circles, and it just feels bigger than it really is. Once you physically write it down, you can actually just look at it for what it is. You can stop being controlled in your head by the thought and observing it. It creates a bit of distance. It's just like having a very good word vomit. You get it out and you feel much better. Instead of pretending you're not nervous, actually acknowledge it. And that honestly alone can make you feel a lot more grounded before you even start. The second thing I did was reread each of the negative beliefs from the journal and write a truth next to it. This was a big one because most of the fear around cold calling is just driven by thinking that doesn't really make sense. So you start acting like the prospect is above you, they're more important, and like one bad reaction means something about your worth. But none of that's really true. So I'd write out the belief in a response to the thought that I'd written down, and then I'd challenge it with truth of the situation. For example, the prospect's my equal, he's no better or worse than me, or yes, I am worried I might make mistakes, but that's okay. Mistakes are chances to learn. Writing down these truths helped me respond to each thought and reset my thinking before the session. Because confidence isn't pretending you'll be perfect. Confidence is just being okay with the reality that even if things don't go well, life goes on. And when you stop expecting perfection and worrying about these negative beliefs and actually look at the reality of the situation, the pressure starts to come off. I've never died from making a cold call. But it's a fear that comes to your mind. And once you acknowledge that fear and right next to it, look, I'm not going to die. No one's ever died from making a cold call. Things just feel a lot better. The third thing that really helped me was debriefing after each cold calling block. After I finished, I wouldn't just walk away and judge the session based on results. I'd look at the actions and behaviours instead. I'd write, what went well? What did I do better than last time? What do I want to work on going into the next call block? That was important because it kept me focused on progress and not the emotions or the outcome. Too many people finish calling blocks and only ask, did I book anything? But that's too narrow. It's like going to the gym and saying, do I have a six-pack yet? It's a process. You have good days, you have bad days. But it's the process of doing it over and over again that leads to the six-pack, not one session on its own. So judge the session and how it went based on your actions and behaviours in that. Because you can do a lot of the things right and still not get the outcome. Doing this, I learned to become much more detached from the outcome and just focused on improving the micro skills I wanted to try and improve. Maybe one week I'd focus only on the opener, one rep at a time, just trying to make that part just stronger and more natural. And then once I felt more confident with that, I'd then move on to the pitch. then the questioning, and then the close. This is what I call skill stacking. You build confidence by improving one piece at a time, failing, iterating, and going again. And that way, it feels a lot less overwhelming than just trying to master everything at once and gotta get a meeting. So debrief and go easy on yourself. The fourth thing I do is practice on calls that didn't matter as much, or in environments that didn't matter. Call people that I didn't actually want to sell to. I'd speak to my friends, I'd speak to family members at weekends, or even just call up gatekeepers and deliver pitches. And yes, that might sound strange, but it helped me massively. Chris Voss calls this small stakes practice. Practice in situations where it just doesn't matter. Build the behaviour into your life. So when it does actually matter, you know it like the back of your hand. It gave me a real chance to practice skills of being on the phone without feeling like every call just carried huge consequences. It allowed me to work on my tone, my pacing, my opener, my ability to stay calm, my ability to recover when I stumbled. Because the pressure was lower, I became comfortable much faster. That meant when the calls actually counted, I was just far more prepared. This is something that a lot of people skip. They only want to practice in real high pressure situations. But sometimes the best way to build confidence is just to reduce the stakes and get your reps in. Normalize this discomfort. Because yes, again, confidence doesn't usually come before action. It comes from taking action, failing, picking yourself up, and going again. So practice in small stakes environments. So, if you're struggling with a fear around cold calling, this is what I'd say. Stop waiting to feel fearless before you start. That feeling may never come. Embrace the fear, unpack it, write it down. What matters is building habits that help you act despite discomfort. Journal before the session and get the fear out of your head. Challenge your negative beliefs with the truth. Debrief after each call block and focus on improving one micro skill at a time. Practice in low pressure situations so you can build comfort through repetition. Bonus tip, don't do it alone if you don't have to. Lean on other people around you and go through the battle together. Because at the end of the day, we are social creatures, and a problem shared is a problem halved. So if there's someone else in the trenches with you, become best friends with them and go through the battles together. Because when you realise that the worst case scenario isn't actually that bad, someone might just say no, someone might tell you to F off, and then what? Your life goes on. And the more you realise that, the less power fear has over you. You've got this. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and if you're interested in one-to-one coaching, reach out to me. Thank you.